I really feel like I can make a difference. And since then, I really not started thinking about anything other than I not stopped thinking about software security, web application security, SaaS security, you name it. And it sort of led me down a really fun, interesting, and great career path where I've built now several big businesses and companies, both starting them from small and growing them to raising venture capital and building companies like I'm doing now to running a $500 million cybersecurity business in Cisco. And I would say the takeaway for that, like let's bring this down to ground, right? Like, so that sounds like a lot of stuff happening fast. It wasn't. Really invested in learning. I studied everything I could. By that time, the internet had volumes of information. I read a lot of books, like how to hack. I wanted to think like a hacker. I wanted to act like a hacker. So I'm an engineer, right? I'm a curious engineer with good programming skills, with good hardware engineering skills. I know how networks work. I know how software works. I have background in engineering degrees and stuff like that. So I, um, I really made it my pet passion and then turned it into my business passion and business focus. And it started with the pet passion, which was, hey, can I learn how malware works? Can I investigate that and try it myself? And I'm telling you, if I had AI on my desktop to work with back then, it could have accelerated my learning a ton. So I would say, like, for anyone who wants to get into it, be curious, find something that you're passionate about, put in the work and effort to learn it really well, and make it so that you can demonstrate that learning. And I think in today's world, that's, like, make a GitHub repo of your examples, like build something that actually demonstrates your knowledge or demonstrates the problem, or, and again, you're a guy who does blogs to help people learn, like put it out there, put it on your LinkedIn, put it, like learn in the open and really get people to recognize that your passion's there and that you're putting in the energy. And I'll tell you, in cybersecurity, you got someone who proves they know something, shows they want to work hard, can demonstrate their value. There's like a million jobs so in cybersecurity that are unfilled around the world. I mean, like, I think you can actually build it yourself by rolling
Yeah.
up your sleeves. And that's pretty much my journey. And it's taken me a long way. It's really, really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fascinating journey because I feel like everyone knows what to do, right? Or how to do it to be successful, but not a lot of people go down that road, right?
Right. Right.
You said you kind of mentioned that you're like a lifelong learner. You really dove into this thing, head first. And I really relate to that for sure. Like security isn't just something that I do 9 to 5, right? In case people didn't realize, like the podcast hints it a little bit, but, I'm also challenging myself significantly in other ways, right? So I'm getting my PhD in securing satellites with zero trust to prepare them for quantum encryption, right? Like that, all three, all two areas of that category, right? Zero trust, I know,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's
the only
right.
thing I'm bringing to the table. I know zero trust, but satellites, never touched them, never looked at them, never researched them. Quantum, I didn't even want to look at it. I mean, even to this day, like, I finished, I think, like my 50-ish page section of my dissertation on quantum. Just giving a base foundation, doing my best to not sound dumb while
Yeah.
talking about quantum, right? I just finished it, so I'm not even trying to think about it now for the rest of the year. But doing those
Congratulations,
things,
by the way. That's huge. Huge. That's a huge part of the lift on getting to that point in your education, right? The
yeah,
dissertation and
yeah, my research plan actually just got approved, I think like maybe last week. And I was torn with emotion because I was like, man, I kind of hope that they would have like denied me and said, no, this will never work. Just leave the program.
right.
But unfortunately, they approved it, and so now, I told my chair, I was like, it looks like I actually have to do this stuff now.
Congratulations. I hope that I'll be calling you Dr. South here next time we do a podcast together. That'd be super fun.
I'm sure we'll do one more before I actually get that accolade. But
Okay, cool.
but I take those two experiences, right, that you had and that I kind of outlined quickly there. And I think of a few friends of mine that didn't put that time in, and now they're unemployed, and now they're in a situation where they're looking like, the other million, 2 million candidates out there for these jobs, when companies really want someone that is passionate about it, and it's doing the little things that show that interest, that show that knowledge and that passion outside of your 9 to 5. Like you said, a GitHub project speaks volumes. It speaks
That's right.
so many more volumes than an interview ever will.
And it's also an open book on your work that people can look at and collaborate with you on, and even see into your soul, so to speak, on how you think and what you do. And that's like the best living example of your work, right? I'll mention one other thing. I was lucky to get mentors early in my career, like people that invested, like believed in me and invested time in me to help me. Whether it was a person at my company that I had been working for, or like my partners in building companies, or we got acquired several times. I've had 5 of my companies acquired. So like one of the early ones, I was still a young guy. I was like not even 30 yet, and we got acquired, and like that and I saw it happening in this organization a lot, where younger people with ambition would easily garner the attention of someone with experience, and they would take them under their wing. And I had the luck of having that several times through my career, through these acquisitions, or even through customers and partners. I'll say that, you know, people are generous, right? Like, on average, I think when people reach out to me, I've had this happen lots of times, several times, where somebody will LinkedIn me, a person that's just out of college, and ask me questions about my career, what I'm doing, or say, "Hey, John, I'd love to talk to you for 15 minutes to talk, see, like, I want to go down this path. Can you talk?" And I do it. Like, I do it. I mean, not as much as I'd love to do it, but I when it comes up, I'm like, that's a chance to give back. And I think if you ask people to help you out, they do. And so I think that's another lesson for people, like, who might be trying to go down the security career. It's like, go to a security meetup in your area, and just talk to people, ask them what they do, be curious, put yourself out there, say, "Hey, I want to get into security. Like, can you give me some advice?" And I bet that pays off hugely, because join the Cloud Native Compute, like, forum, join OWASP, and it's like $50, right? Join OWASP, be curious, show up to the meetup in your town. Chicago's got a great, like, OWASP community, right? And go be around security people. They'll guide you. Uh, Contribute to a OWASP project. It's out there to do. Like, I know, for instance, Steve Springett, like a close colleague, he runs Open OWASP dependency track. It's got like 1,800 different organizations that use it like a mainstream product. He's in Chicagoland. That's where he lives. Go to the OWASP meetup, talk to Steve, go show that you know something about dependency track. And I bet you one of those 1,800 companies would love to know your name. Simple stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is actually really true. Putting yourself out there is probably 90% of the battle, right? Like I remember when I was getting started, I would go to those meetings
Yeah.
just to meet people, learn something, and I would bring a stack of resumes with me and I'd hand them out, like
There you go.
what do I have to lose? Someone going to
I
turn me
went
down?
Exactly right. I went to one of those in New York City probably 6 months ago, and half the audience were college kids from one of the universities in New York. They were all graduating in the cybersecurity program from that university, and they were out there talking to, like, grizzled old professionals like me and all the guys there. But they've linked in with me now. They send me notes. I have you meet someone and you get a little, like, investment in their name and what they do, and you're like, I saw that guy at the thing. Yeah, you remember it. And that little bit of ingenuity, it goes a long way. It makes the people take notice. I think
Yeah.
it's useful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting also leveraging, your network, right? Like building that relationship, really, really diving into that